Welcome to OpenCV weekly webinar. And this is a very special episode because today we are going to declare the global grand prize winners for OpenCV AI Competition, which is the biggest spatial AI competition in the world. And joining with me are Brandon Gilles, who is the chief architect of Oak and the founder and CEO of Luxonis, and Anna Petrovicheva, who is the CTO of OpenCV.ai. And there were many people involved in organizing this competition, but we are representatives of all the people who helped organize the competition. As always, we also have Phil Nelson, who is the content manager at OpenCV.org, and he has also contributed a lot to organizing this competition. So we are all here, and now, we can begin by having some thoughts from every person on the competition. Brandon, can you get us started?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the thing that excites me about all of this is how innovation works, right? Like, it's so cool to see the collision of folks' dreams and like their views of like, I wish this was possible, right? Like looking at these teams that are like, I've wanted to do this, and then, along comes this technology, and then boom, right? Like, and then we have these, amazing things that can, save the lives of preterm babies, or help people navigate who have visual impairments or physical impairments. And it's just that confluence of capabilities and passions, right? Like, as someone who has this passion, this knowledge, and has spent all this life work in one direction, wishing that a technology was here, whether it just for it to exist at all, or for it to exist at the price point, or where you don't have to spend another 30 years of your life becoming an expert in computer vision, when you're an expert in this field, to have all that come together and see these amazing projects that were put together in incredibly short timelines. This is one of the coolest things that's happened in my life. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it was mind-blowing, the quality of the presentation, the projects, etc. Anna, your turn.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to second Brandon saying that it's like, it's pure astonishment for me, the quality of the submissions and the quality of the results. Well, I was expecting that the competition is going to be big and it's going to be, crazy lot of new technologies coming up, but I wasn't expecting this kind of quality of the results. Because what we had here is some hardcore science papers or some hardcore engineering happening, sometimes in the same time. That's really I didn't see probably an event like that in my life. And I totally want to say just the same thing as Brandon did. This is probably one of the coolest things that I was participating in my life. And thank you, community, for making that possible.
That's great. Phil, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's I think we are all expected to some big things to happen here, but I don't think any of us expected the sheer breadth and depth of the big things that happened. Like Brandon already touched on, we're literally these projects that are about, saving the lives of the most vulnerable human beings that there are, preterm babies, like just bananas. Everything from that to accurately tracking, table tennis. It's been incredible to be a part of this, for sure.
I want one of those so bad.
Yeah, so and I felt that you can judge the quality of this competition if you look at the projects that actually did not win prizes. Even those are so high quality, and you would be surprised. In most other, in many other competitions, they would end up in top 3, and here it was so competitive that they are not in the top 18. Some of my favorite teams, in fact, are not in the top 18. That says a lot about the quality of projects people have done. And during this COVID, it's fascinating. It's just incredible what people have been able to pull off. So thank you so much to our entire community. And now I'll start with a short presentation, and we will share with you, the top 5. And there are a ton of giveaways during this presentation, including, I've been telling people about the stuff in the box. You will also get a chance to win one of these. So let me start with the presentation, and there will be questions. So please keep your eyes and ears open during the presentation. We will also ask you to guess the top 3, and we will show you the top 5. So let's get started. Let me share my screen. All right, so for people who may not know, may not be familiar with OpenCV AI competition, this is a competition that started early this year in January, and this happens to be the biggest spatial AI competition in the world. And right. For people who do not know what is spatial AI, basically, if you think about AI these days, it is equivalent to running neural networks and doing inference. So you could do artificial intelligence for computer vision basically means that you're solving a problem like image classification, segmentation, object detection, etc. And most of this is done using a neural network. The spatial part of spatial AI is that you also know how far things are from the camera. So you know what the things are through the AI, like object detection, and you know how far things are from the camera. And OpenCV is OpenCV AI Kit. It is with depth. It is a spatial AI powerhouse. It's capable of doing 4 trillion operations per second. And it also has capability of depth. It has a stereo pair, and it's able to do depth analysis while doing neural inference on the device, which leaves the host computer free to do other business logic or other processing. So all of this processing is happening on the device. And this competition was centered around this device. We gave away 1,200 of these devices to the first phase winners, and they built beautiful projects using this device. And the reason this device is so important in the scheme of things today, and why Microsoft and Intel, our sponsors, decided to back this competition, is because spatial AI, it's something very new. And we could say in good faith that OpenCV was the first device that brought down the price of this device substantially and made something like this accessible to regular people. So to build something like this, universities would spend tens of thousands of dollars just to have a setup where they could have depth and neural inference running in sync. So beautiful device, and that's why we got so much traction with large companies like Microsoft and Intel. Now, one of the things that we decided with OpenCV AI competition is that we will run the competition in 2 phases. We wanted it to be a hardware plus software competition. In the first phase, we asked people to submit proposals. We did not want to dictate what kind of problems people would solve. It's not like, oh, this is the competition, give us the best ones. We wanted it to be very subjective because we wanted to know how people use these devices. We don't want to dictate because we are very limited in our experience. When you ask the community, they surprise you, they completely astonish you with the kind of ideas they have. And that's why it was divided into 2 phases. In the first phase, we received proposals, and we received about 1,400 submissions. And out of those, we selected 257 teams, and these teams were given OpenCVs. Each team could get up to 4, or university teams could also get up to 10 OpenCVs. We distributed about 1,200 OpenCVs to people, and with these, they moved on to the second phase. And it was a challenge to get these devices onto the hands of people, partly because of COVID, but also about all kinds of international restrictions. We had to literally call the government officials in some countries to make these packages, pass customs. So it was quite a lot of effort to just get these devices in the hands of people. But we are so glad that for the most part, people were able to receive the devices and they were able to work on the projects. We also wanted the competition to be solving regional problems. So it's a global competition which solves regional problems, because it's very difficult to compare the problems that we have, let's say in India or in Africa, to the problems we have in the United States. The domains are different, and it's difficult to compare. You cannot compare, apples to apples, apples to oranges. So we decided to break the world into these regions and have the competition only within these regions. But there were also another ulterior motive to do this. We just wanted to give away a lot of prizes because we knew that there will be so many strong entries. It would not be, we would not be able to do justice if we did not have a lot of prizes. So that's why we divided the world into 6 regions and then give away prizes in each one. So in phase 1, as I had already mentioned, we had actually 7,500 registrations, out of which 1,400 people submitted, and there were 257 winners of phase 1. And then in phase 2, out of those 257 people, half of them dropped off. And so we got 127 very high quality submissions for the final project. And we have 25 regional prizes. Out of these, for each region, we have 3 prizes, but in one of the regions we could not decide, and a prize is shared. So we have 19 winners. And we also have regional popular prizes. The deadline for that is September 20th, and we'll share some link on where you can vote for these teams, so that they can win the popular ones. And the final one is obviously the top 3 grand prizes, which we have assembled today for. So that was the nature of the competition. And what about the prizes? We have, in the first phase, the prizes were basically giving away OpenCV AI kit with depth. Regional prizes, we just announced it on September 6th. The first prize for each region is 5K, the second prize is 3K, and the third prize is 2K. And we also have popular prizes, which will be announced on the 20th of September. It's another 2K. So if you have friends, please help them out by voting for their project. And Phil must have shared this link where you can vote. And the grand prize, which will be announced today, is the first prize is $20,000. The second prize is $10,000, and the third prize is $5,000. So that's quite a rich, prize money from our sponsors. We want to thank Microsoft and Intel again for this generous, for their generous contribution. Now, grand prizes,
the growth is pretty amazing too, compared to last competition as well, in terms of the prize money. It's, an order of magnitude.
That's right. That's right. And, the regional prizes was decided internally. Our team, there were a lot of people involved. About 10 judges were involved in deciding the regional prizes. But we have our own biases because we, even though we are in different geographical location, and, like there are people in India, Russia, Europe, US, all of us were judges in the regional prizes, but we are also technical people. So we decided that for grand prizes, we want to have other people. And in particular, we wanted to see if some of these projects would be interesting to venture capitalists. So we reached out to some VC firms, and we have these 3 judges. The first one is Samir Kumar from M12, which is Microsoft's venture arm. The second is Konstantin Buhler, who is a partner at Sequoia Capital. And if people, I'm pretty certain that most people know that Sequoia is the biggest venture capital firm in the world. And also the most successful. And the third judge is our own Dr. Gary Bradsky, who is the founder of OpenCV. So these judges decided on the final winners, And we did add, when there was a tie, we added a little bit of our own contribution. The three, Brandon, me, and Anna, we decided, how to break the tie. So now we are on to this competition timeline. I just want to quickly go over it. This has been going on for almost a year, not quite, but almost a year. And let's quickly go over this. I just wanted to mention that the popular prize will be announced on the 20th. And there is a link in this presentation. And also Phil has shared the presentation. We will announce the popular prize winners on September 20th. Please help your friends out. So with that, we are ready
will
to
get an additional $2,000.
That's right. So we are ready to now share the top 5, and watch this carefully because there are prizes based on how carefully you watch the presentations, etc. We will ask some trivia questions. All the answers are contained in the presentation. The first one is American stereotypes. This blew me away. It's a VR project based on OAK-D. And I just want to get a quick take by Brandon, Anna, Phil about this. Brandon, you can go first about, how you felt about this particular.
Yeah, so let me make sure I'm not muted. I wanted to build this actually. This is one of the things that I thought was buildable with this sort of technology. And in fact, when I quit my job to start working on a startup, this is effectively he accomplished what I was hoping to do. And what kind of pivoted me off of this was while I was trying to convince engineers to join me to go build this. I kept getting tragic stories about how folks in our technical community had been hit, in some cases run over by distracted drivers. And so that's when I pivoted to the life safety thing. But seeing this, it's like, yes, you can do it. I didn't really know. And he did an amazing job of implementing it and being able to have this, multiplayer virtual reality like he did, or augmented reality, mixed reality. So I think it's super cool. The thing that I really like about this is you can bring folks who love video games. Like when I was a kid, I loved video games, into real life interaction. Obviously COVID blocks that to some degree right now, but hopefully at some point it doesn't. And so you can bring athleticism and love of video games together and actually be able to play a video game in real life. The technology has some ways to go. We have some work to do, but eventually, maybe be able to sprint around with your friends playing a real life video game. It's I don't know, it gives me goosebumps. I'm super excited about this one.
Right. So I just realized that I think it would be better for audience to listen to our comments after they have seen this. So Anna and Phil, could you we'll just wait because they don't know what we are talking about until we
totally makes sense.
Show the video.
Yep.
Okay, let's get started.
Hey, I'm Bart. I'm going to show you how it's possible to bring your physical space into virtual reality to transform your home into a laser tag arena using Oculus Quest 2 and OAK-D depth cameras. First, let me show you exactly what I mean. Modern headsets are really good at tracking head pose. However, they have no concept of the surrounding environmental geometry. Players have to manually define a safe play area using a system called the Guardian. Playing without this is just asking for trouble. As impressive as virtual reality environments are, players are constrained by the Guardian boundary. The environment bears no resemblance to their physical space. If we had depth cameras observing the room, mapping it out, and detecting furniture within it, we could create what's known as a mixed reality experience. In mixed reality, virtual structures correspond to physical ones, so when you reach out and try to touch a virtual wall, you actually feel it. Likewise, obstacles can be placed that conform exactly to furniture boundaries. Now, you can have a much more compelling, free-roaming experience without a guardian. Now, systems like this already exist, but they rely on purpose-built venues and expensive motion tracking cameras that cost thousands of dollars each. I believe with a little bit of ingenuity, computer vision, and deep learning, we can leverage $200 depth cameras like the OAK-D and $300 headsets like the Quest 2 to democratize the space and open it up for more creators. The system I've built is capable of detecting walls and furniture. It also supports multiple players in the same space. That's something that still isn't possible out of the box on a Quest 2. It feels a lot closer to a sci-fi holodeck than a typical Guardian-bound experience. All of this was accomplished using a standard off-the-shelf Quest 2 headset, a computer, and 2 Luxonis OAK-D depth cameras, plus ample amounts of sticky tape. There are 4 key parts to my system, all running within a server program on a PC. Registration of the cameras to each other, headset registration, wall detection, and object detection. Let's discuss each of these in turn. All the cameras in the system have to agree on a common coordinate space. That means that pairs of cameras have to be overlapped slightly so that they can both observe a calibration target simultaneously and compute transforms between each other's local coordinate spaces. The process doesn't have to be repeated unless the camera is removed. Synchronizing the headset with the camera is a lot trickier. That's because Oculus doesn't publish a schematic of the headset revealing where inside the origin of the coordinate system is. But we do have a model of the controller, and we know precisely where its origin point is. We also know that the headset tracks the controller very precisely optically. So if we can pick up the controller in our depth camera's coordinate system, and the headset knows where the controller is, then we can compute a transform directly between the camera and the headset.
That's very
I
clever.
use one of the depth cameras to track the pose of the controller directly. The registration procedure is really simple. Wave the controller in front of the camera until 4 non-coplanar points are captured, both in the camera space and the headset space. I measure the time of arrival to match them up, and then run a solver to compute transforms between the 2 spaces. The green points here are where the headset saw the controller. The red points are where the camera saw the controller projected back into the headset space. You can see that the error is very small. Walls are detected using April tags printed on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. The OAK-D cameras are not timed flight. Instead, they actually use a stereo camera arrangement to estimate depth passively, and that means they have a lot of trouble with featureless surfaces. Here's a point cloud that the cameras produced. Notice that they don't pick up much of the walls, and when we zoom in further, we can see quite a bit of error and noise. Ideally, walls would be detected directly from the point cloud using plane estimation. This could be done with active depth cameras like the Azure Kinect or even iPhone LiDAR, but for OAK-D, I would first need to run a machine learning model to cleanly segment out the patches of wall that it sees. Given the project time constraints, April tags were a better choice. The bigger April tags are, the easier they are to detect, but even with 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, the results are really good. For a large living room space, the error is on the order of only a few centimeters, and if we had more cameras positioned around the room, that would go down further. Object detection is the final step. This is used to pick up furniture. I used a pre-trained model called MaskR-CNN. Here's how it sees the upstairs living room. Notice how it picks up the couch and the suitcase. Because I didn't train the model myself, I had to rely on the pre-trained classes that were already available for household items. Here's what it got in the dining room downstairs. You can see that it picked up the plant, as well as the pedestal that it's standing on, in addition to the couch and the dining table. Detections are carried out on the RGB image and then projected back into the point cloud, so that bounding boxes can be fit to individual objects. I use the boxes to create generic-looking obstacles, but you can get as creative as you like and craft more interesting environments. Notice how I'm able to confidently avoid physical obstacles, or use them for cover while playing against my mom. That's right, co-located multiplayer is easy to do with a system like this. Each headset communicates exclusively with the server, which in turn knows how to transform poses between any two headsets. I really hope you found this inspiring, informative, and had as much fun watching it as I had making it. It's only a rough proof of concept, but it goes to show you just how far you can get leveraging the amazing technologies at our disposal today. Please feel free to reach out by Twitter or by email. I'm always happy to talk about this stuff. And in the meantime, I'll see you in the metaverse.
All right. So Anna, your thoughts?
I mean, I want to give like huge kudos to Bart for implementing this. I think that's amazing that he implemented this whole solution, being one person on the team. And this is not, as far as I understood, this is not kind of his major thing that he does, right? So this is just a hobby project. I also, I looked at the code that he shared with us, and the code is super high quality. So this is a very, very strong, cool project. Probably one of my favorites throughout the whole competition that I saw.
Right. Phil, your thoughts? You're a gamer?
Yeah, definitely. This one's close to my heart because it's also really similar to a project I worked on at Occipital called Bridge Headset. We built, it basically was one of the first VR headsets or even pass-through headsets for iPhones, 5 years ago or so. And so it's really cool to see this, actually accomplishing a lot of the lofty ideas that we had that, maybe the compute wasn't quite there back in the day. It's one of the less serious projects in the competition at this level, but it's one of the funnest ones for sure. And so
I loved it too.
They did a great job. And echoing what Anna said, like there's so many parts to this. It's really impressive that they were able to do this in the time allotted.
Yeah, right. And to Anna's point, I wanted to mention that, I was recruiting a team to build this, right? He built it in his spare time. So that gives an example. And then in terms of the confluence of technologies to have this stuff available. So he mentioned, passive stereo depth has trouble with blank surfaces because it's looking for features, right? So if you have a blank wall or solid color wall, it won't work well. We do have time of flight coming out and active versions of stereo depth that will be in the same price point. So or the exact same price point for the active stereo depth. So in that case, it would make this application a lot easier. So we are continuing to push this to make it so, all the pieces are there, for the problem that you're going for. So I'm really excited to get this into Bart's hand and see how it works then.
Is that an announcement, Brandon, that we will have the active depth camera sometime next year?
Yeah, it is an announcement. The only reason we haven't done it, so someone says Oak Plus, we're going to call this one the Pro. The only reason we had not done this earlier is we take laser safety super carefully. Visual assistance for the visually impaired. We don't want to hurt eyes, and we've not worked with lasers before, so we've been super careful about making a system that has lasers active depth. So yeah, you heard it here first. Thanks for joining the webinar. That will be coming to a desk and home laser tag facility near you soon.
Yeah, and Bart just chimed in the chat and says, "Don't worry, guys, my mom is a tough lady."
Thanks, Bart. All right, so let's move on to the next. Oops. How do I get to the next slide now? Really? Hold on. Sorry. Okay, let's go. See, this is exactly why I have not listed the winners on my slide. I knew that I would make a mistake, and the winners would be revealed. So my slides don't contain the names of winners.
You totally called it. You totally called it.
All right.
Never trust a demo.
Yeah, this is. Let's look at this demo and then we'll talk about it.
Hi, we are Cerebros, a group of technology enthusiast engineers representing Alexandria University in Egypt. We have practical experience in several areas, including embedded systems, robotics, and machine learning. We decided to apply this experience in solving one of the problems facing the medical field. Technological developments in the area of brain-machine interface, known as BMI, have received our attention. The motivation for our choice to apply brain control technology to wheelchairs has several reasons. Firstly, the large number of patients who cannot control their wheelchairs by themselves. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, brainstem stroke, brain or spinal cord injury, cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophies, multiple sclerosis, and numerous other diseases impair the neural pathways that control muscles or impair the muscles themselves. They affect nearly 2 million people in the United States and 10,000 children every year in Egypt. Secondly, the wide market for wheelchairs and annual market growth rate of wheelchairs, which is 7.6% from 2015 to 2026. Our strategy to add a new feature to these chairs is to enable patients who are completely unable to move to control the chairs through brain signals and enable them to regain some mobility safely and easily indoors, as in home, healthcare, and hospitals. And to move outdoors as well, such as in the streets or any open area with minimal infrastructure modifications. Our brain-computer interface makes use of EEG, which is an affordable, accessible, and non-invasive technique to detect brain activity. For multiple channels headset, motor imagery signals are used to operate the wheelchair by detecting a suppression of the 7 to 13 Hz in the sensory motor cortex, which is the brain area associated with movement when users imagine movements. After successfully being able to control the wheelchair, deploying our own built from scratch deep learning model based on a convolutional neural network, we had to add many safety and monitoring features to the wheelchair in terms of knowing the surrounding environment and avoiding collision. The most common technique used by automotive companies is using short-range sensors like ultrasonic and IMU to detect the stability of the chair, and also a battery management system to check whether the battery needs to be recharged or not. And both of these features can be monitored from the mobile application by the caregiver responsible for the patient. But short-range sensors have a lot of drawbacks and are not reliable enough to guarantee the complete safety of the patient. So we decided to use computer vision in autopilot application using OpenCV. To control the chair, there is a lot of digital signal processing processes and millions of mathematical equations being calculated in real time for the machine learning model. And all of that needed a huge computational power, so adding more models for the vision will cost more computational power and may cause a delay in the performance. The OpenCV camera from OpenCV is a perfect solution for this problem, as it has an onboard processor, which is the Movidius Myriad X visual processing unit, that can perform up to 4 trillion operations per second, which is faster for computer vision and AI tasks. 3 OpenCV cameras are used in left, right, and front of the wheelchair to detect any moving vehicle and pedestrians, then locates each object by calculating the distance and angle between the wheelchair and all of the targeted detected objects. And based on all these givens, a priority algorithm will take all necessary precautions in terms of movement of the wheelchair to see whether if it is safe in all directions or if it needs to stop. We also use the camera's stream in mapping a localization by determining the coordinates of the wheelchair and putting all surrounding vehicles in Google Maps with a simple technique. When starting the wheelchair, we first get its longitude and latitude coordinates using a GPS measured in degrees. So we calculate the distance and angle of the located object and get the X component and Y component, then convert it to degrees. We wouldn't have finished our project in that great way if it wasn't for our great sponsors. Thanks to them and thanks to OpenCV for their technical support and the offered courses.
That's great. Anna, what are your thoughts?
I mean, this is amazing. This first time I looked at this video, I saw this, I thought it's, you know, some super high-tech thing that is really coming alive, right? Basically wheelchair that moves on the EEG of the patient, right? And avoids obstacles. I thought that's something that you could only see in the movies, not in the real world right now. And I'm super amazed that things like that are actually coming into our reality. So excited about this project.
Yeah, that's true. Brandon, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is one of those things really early on when we started working on this. You know, we had folks reach out with such an idea, and we're just like, yeah, that's so cool, right? Like that's not something I ever would have thought of. That there are situations, whether it's brain controlled in this case, which adds so much freedom to for someone, right? Like it's insane the amount of freedom that this adds to other cases where maybe if you have neurological damage or a neurological disease, you could control a wheelchair, but you put yourself at a significant risk if you accidentally do a wrong input, and then the motorized wheelchair, takes you down a flight of stairs or runs you into something that could hurt you. And so using this sort of technology to be able to keep people safe in all of those conditions is super cool to me, because it can allow you to have that freedom without, the risk that would otherwise come along with it. So yeah, blown away to see this.
It's also fascinating. We don't realize that how much mobility is associated with freedom. If you have small kids, one of the few so dangerous things you buy them when they are little is a bicycle, right? I mean, just imagine, you're not buying them anything else but a bicycle, which they learn to ride early on, right? 3-4 years old, they're riding a bicycle with two wheels. That's what freedom is, right? About mobility. And to Anna's point, I also feel that things that were available to people like Stephen Hawkins, Intel built a wheelchair for him. I don't know how much it cost, but I would say that maybe few million dollars, right, to get all those things on the wheelchair. Various technologies, not just computer vision, they are now becoming cheaper enough that we may be able to make affordable wheelchairs and other assistive technologies. Phil.
Yeah, this is one of those projects that it's almost you feel like you're not worthy, right? We're just building these cameras, and they've done this incredible thing with them that it's almost too much to wrap your head around sometimes.
That's right. All right, so let's move on to the next one. I hope we are not running short on time. I will. Sorry. So, this video doesn't have any audio, so it doesn't do justice. So I'll speak a little bit about why it is an important contribution. So what they are building is basically automatic data annotation. So using the depth information, they're able to segment out the image, and that creates a data set, which is you're pretty much not using human labelers, and in a lot of places that becomes extremely useful. One thing I think they should have done, they should have used other objects, right, instead of simple fruits, etc. in this one. For example, in a warehouse condition, they could be using shoes and other things to create a representation of a shoe, to classify shoes or do different kinds of things, right? So a very powerful idea. I think that they could have done a little bit extra in the presentation. Your thoughts, Phil? Let's go with you first.
Yeah, this one would definitely win for me for cutest labels, I think. They did a really good job with the little, emojis and stuff. And yeah, I think, maybe in a way they kind of buried the lead a little bit because the real power of this has nothing to do with fruit. It's got everything to do with the training and labeling and stuff. So just, yeah, really, really cool project. One of those kind of engineering heavy things that is really cool to see here.
Yeah, we saw another project like this where they were actually using depth to find the brake shoes of trains. We are not showing it here today, but that was also very cool, where it was automatically figuring out based on depth information. It was training a neural network first, and then using those images for training the neural network. Brandon, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the train one along with this are good ones to talk about in terms of how AI can just make lives better, not just in ways of these very dramatic, like saving lives and improving lives and giving freedom, but also just making it so people don't have to do jobs they hate. Right? There's a lot of jobs out there that that are critical, but can be pretty horrible human experience, that are just leveraging the most basic portions of human perception. Just be like, does that thing still look okay? Is it the right geometry? Is it in a safe configuration? And so being able to leverage spatial AI like this is a good example of being able to train basic human-like perception to then free people up to do the more interesting things while keeping people on the train safe, right? Like making sure the brakes are safe. And then the other aspect I think that ICANN showed here is that having low-cost sensors, it isn't just enabling for you to be able to build the thing, it's enabling to be able to build great models, right? Like previously, if you're trying to put together all of these things, it might be cost prohibitive for you to go deploy 400 of these because you took so much work building your one of them. But if you have these all over the place, then you can ingest the depth information, you can ingest the RGB, you can ingest all three frames, left and right, and then be able to produce models that are world-class for your application, like manufacturing, like you're talking about, not because you have some crazy special sauce, even just because you have access to that data, so you can make something that really, really performs well in that situation.
Right. Anna, your turn.
This is the hardcore science that I was talking about. So even though this is a very nice and very kind of cute video, there is a lot of science behind that. There is a whole research scientific paper that backs this research. And this is something that is not, existent in the industry before. So again, I just want to say kudos to the team for making this technology possible, which was not there before.
That's great. Let's move on to. I have a lot of things to say, but let's move on because time is short. So this is Cortic Technologies. Let's get started.
Hi, my name is Yan.
My name is Michael.
My name is Jen.
We are Team Cortic Tigers. We want to democratize AI for everyone, and we want to do it with the OpenCV.
We believe AI democratization starts with people. We want AI to be accessible and affordable to everybody. this is why the OAK-D is such a perfect fit for our project. We are developing software to support the OAK-D to enable people to learn and build using this incredible technology. Anyone can get started easily. It takes only a few minutes to write an AI program that runs on the OAK-D using our visual programming interface. You can even use it to build your own robot. Here is our Lego robot, Charlie. You can teach Charlie to say hello and interact with you.
Hello, Michael.
Follow my face.
Ask Charlie to count reps for you when you're exercising. Or even get him to control your smart home. But what if you want to control more devices and need more computing power? Our advanced Python API will take care of that for you. You can easily distribute AI computation to many devices on the network and render the combined result. The OAK-D, together with our software tools, will allow anyone to use AI in any way they want. Whether you want to learn about AI, build a project to help someone, or maybe just have some fun, we've got you covered.
Thoughts, Brandon?
Yeah. So I think it's actually a quote. I don't know who it's originally from, but I heard it from you, Satya, which is, education is what sparks the fire, right? Like that's what it really does.
Right.
It's what allows that massive change when you're able to educate people, when you're able to get tools to the point where someone in a basement can make something with the lowest effort possible. Like how innovation works, like the invention of the steam engine. It was a technician who had all the tools available, say like, couldn't you build this? And it's lowering that barrier to entry is the biggest thing. So whether it's professional or it's someone in first grade, like this is the level where someone could make an Air keyboard right, or a theremin or what have you, using these tools and the power of spatial AI. It allows anyone to harness it. Someone who's in first grade, all the way to someone who, you know, works some very specific industry, is a super expert in that, and just wants to know, like, hey, is this now possible? Like, could I do this, right? And you can do this drag and drop interface. So this one gives me goosebumps because this, you know, brings that power, all this AI power, all the spatial power, all the CV power, those complicated pipelines, right? Those are pipelines that in 2017, the world's best companies, like literally the world's best companies with trillions of dollars at their disposal, couldn't do that. Like they couldn't do what he just showed there, right? Like it was not possible even on a super powerful computer. And now a first grader can do it, right? And it's this open source toolkit leveraging that, you know, all the confluence of these technologies now allows that. I know we're short on time, so I'll stop there. Very excited.
Anna, your thoughts?
No, I can't help myself but feel a little bit envious to the kids who will be like learning this while being so small, right? I can't help but wonder also, where would I be right now if I was, you know, exposed to this technology when I was 7? So, I mean, this is an awesome project. And, you know, I had to watch this video 2 times because I was like, are you serious? Yeah, so a great project there.
Yeah, and they also engage the community throughout our, you know, this, which was also great. I mean, that doesn't count towards the final, but still, we are very thankful for that. Phil.
Yeah, big fan of Charlie. You know, what more do you want from something? Legos, computer vision, this awesome drag and drop, you know, programming interface, similar to what Anna said. You know, when I was a kid in first grade, we were probably still just hitting each other with rocks and sticks, you know, compared to the kind of stuff they have here. It's just awesome project. I'm probably gonna buy one of these Lego Mindstorm kits just to try to put some oaks on it. But yeah, great project.
Yeah, for sure. Buying one.
My name is Gilles.
My name is Michael.
Move on to this is the last one in the series.
Caleta team at the University of Cali has developed NeoCam. NeoCam is a monitoring system that allows 24/7 surveillance of newborns and babies that use the O camera and incorporates new computer vision models and hardware improvements.
The core element of the NeoCam is an OAK camera, where we have included some new machine learning algorithms for computation on the edge of relevant features of newborns' activity and status. Physiological data are usually measured on newborns by attaching physical sensors and cables. Our system allows many of these quantities to be measured without any contact, by using purely a camera and computer vision algorithms. We believe this will have an impact in the future of newborn and baby monitoring.
The system involves placing the NeoCam device on each incubator and collecting the data and signal real time on the cloud. The server stores all the relevant information and serves the processed information to medical doctor or parent through a mobile application installed on a smartphone or tablet.
The internal elements of the NeoCam are the OAK camera, a Raspberry Pi, which does part of the processing, a hard disk, and 5G connectivity shield.
We have built a prototype which includes all these elements, and we have tested in the wild on the newborn unit at Hospital Puerta del Mar in Cádiz.
The first model of the NeoCam is capable of registering 3 important quantities for newborn monitoring: breathing frequency, motor activity, and emotional status. All of the models process the images captured by the camera, and they are run inside the OAK camera.
Breathing frequency is measured using the depth object estimation provided by the 3 cameras inside a node. A standard face recognition model detects the face and relative to it, places a reference region on the chest. Contraction and expansion of the thorax while breathing is measured in real time and results in an accurate estimation of breathing frequency.
2 standard object detection models capture bounding boxes on the head and the body of the baby. The relative motion and relative sizes of these 2 bounding boxes allows us to detect whether the left arm, right arm, or legs are extended or contracted. Computing the frequency of these motions allows us to provide an activity index of how active the baby is over a certain period of time. In particular, we can also measure sleep-wake cycles with this technique and monitor the newborn's psychomotor development.
We have recorded a number of videos from newborn babies and set up an annotation platform for experts to label their emotion based on their face expression. Then we train a new image classifier that is able to recognize with reasonable good accuracy whether the baby is stressed or calm. The model has been loaded into the OAK using OpenBino, and it performs inference on real time inside the camera. Recording and measuring these stress or pain periods over a large period of time is a very good way to detect the deviation from the baby's normal development and raise alerts to signal potential problems.
The NeoCam with the OAK-D is just the beginning.
All right, so now I want to make sure, I get all these prizes in before 10 a.m. so that, people who have to go to other meetings, etc., get a chance. So we have 5 teams. We have deliberately not spoken a lot about the names of the teams because you are expected to remember. And now we go for the third prize. We will tell you what you will win afterwards because I just want to get this prizes in first. But you will win a lot of prizes if you answer this correctly. So your time starts now. Guess which team won the third prize. Which team won the third prize? You have to name the team correctly. And the first person who answers it in the chat will receive a load of prizes, a ton of prizes. Do we have the answers yet?
We've got, I think quite a few people got them. They're going too fast. Let me pull up here.
All right.
The third prize winner is actually Cerebro's team with their incredible smart wheelchair. Congratulations to them. They win $5,000. And they are still up for the popular vote, which you can find the links for in the chat here.
All right. So congratulations, Cerebros. Amazing effort. And sorry for the little goof up. It happens to the best of us. All right.
Shouldn't have trusted the sheet. Shouldn't have trusted the sheet.
See, yeah. Now let's go to the second prize. Same thing. You have to guess who's the second prize, and that's it. Let's go.
Got a lot of people asking for you to open the tiny box. It's not going to happen today, folks. Sorry.
Oh, so you will get one of these tiny boxes. This is part of the prize, but there are many other things that you will get in the prize package. Did we get an answer yet?
Yes, we did.
Sorry, I had to scroll back to make sure I wasn't using the answers from the previous question here. It looks like the first person to get it correct was Chintan Patel.
Okay.
With
and the right answer is, it was probably not obvious, but still, I'm glad that it was Kaleta, because that leaves the first prize still a mystery. Congratulations, team Kaleta. And let's move on to the final prize. Your guessing starts now. Let's find out who has won the first prize.
Looks like.
Yeah. There are some correct answers already.
On my screen here, I see I called them wrong the first time, but Partha came back and got it right this time. Satya, would you like to announce who is the grand prize winner of $20,000 in OpenCV AI Competition 2021?
The grand prize winner is Kotick Tigers. Congratulations, team. It was an excellent effort. A big round of applause. I'm sure that people are clapping on there as well. It's amazing how you were able to pull off. You also engage the community. but more importantly, you have created system which little kids would be inspired to learn AI, right? It's an investment in our future. This is such a cool project. Congratulations. Now, I know that some people may have to leave, but let's describe all the prizes that people will win as part of this. It's a package of prizes. We are giving away a lot of prizes. So Phil, go ahead.
Yeah, so we dug deep and reached out to the OpenCV partners as well as our competition sponsors. Among the things that you folks will be getting are growth credits from our friends at RoboFlow, $200 in super annotate credits, 200 hours of Microsoft Azure, and maybe one of those little things in the box. You want to show them the box again, Satya?
Yeah, I'm always ready to show the box, but I'll go one step forward now, and I will open the box, but just so you can see the interior, that this is actually a small device.
It's teeny tiny in there.
Yeah, and it fits right behind my fingers. It fits right behind my fingers. It's really tiny.
That's right.
So to summarize and to recap, I think we should share what the first and second and third prize winners are winning as well.
Right. Sorry about that. So the first prize winner gets $20,000 in cash. And this is in addition to the regional prizes they might have won already. The second prize winner will win $10,000. And the third prize is $5,000, right? And thanks to our sponsors, Microsoft Azure and Intel, for this very generous gift to our community. Okay,
Absolutely.
so the package, I can just recap one. I think you left one more thing. We will also give away Computer Vision 1 or Deep Learning with PyTorch, whichever course you want as part of the package, and one thing in the box. So there are 5 things you're going to get. One from our partner RoboFlow, some credits from Super Annotate, 200 hours of free credit from Microsoft Azure, and one course of your choice from OpenCV courses, and this thing in the box.
What's in the box?
Right. I also want to, I always love this quote. It's a little story, A Man in the Arena by Theodore Roosevelt. Basically says that, the people who competed hard and did not make the final cut, there is nothing they need to feel sorry about. It's, it's great to be a contender, right? It is important to be in the arena, to fight the fight, to win the competition. There's a lot of luck, there is a lot of judgment involved, and we cannot always guarantee that you will win. But what is in your control is to be a contender, to show up in the arena and fight hard. And so I wanted to convey the people who did not make the final cut, please don't feel sorry. This has been an excellent, your contribution has been exceptional. And we really are thankful for all the submissions. It's been overwhelming for us to just do this judging, because we had to leave out so many good teams out. It's just the nature of the competition. But we'll definitely see you next time. Before we leave, I want to remind people that we are doing a Kickstarter campaign starting September 15th, and you will be able to, I just keep repeating myself, but you'll be able to back the thing in the box. There is one little information that I want to share, that we will have a lot of prizes for the first backer, whoever backs us first. We will also have prizes for the people who will back us in the first 1 minute and the first, the first 10 minutes or so, right? So please, if you're thinking about, backing OpenCV hardware, OpenCV and Luxonis hardware, then this is the hardware you want to get your hands on. If people are confused, I don't think people are confused, what kind of hardware it is. It is basically, if you think about OAK-D as the Porsche of spatial computing, spatial AI. This is the Model T. This is a camera for everybody, right? This is going to be a revolution in spatial AI like no other, because we have broken the price barrier substantially. You know, it is just unimaginable how inexpensive this is going to be. And if you go to that link and sign up, also go to this Kickstarter campaign and click on a button that says notify me when the launch happens. If you do those two things, you will enter into a competition or a lucky draw where we are giving away 74 of these units. So please do those, and thank you so much for your support. Parting words, Brandon, Anna, Phil. Let's start with Brandon.
Sure. Yeah. So the whole purpose of this coming Kickstarter is we had so many people prototype solving important problems, and there were some folks that then said, like, this is perfect. Like, we're just going. We can now impact the world with this technology. But probably more folks than not said, like, man, as much as I love this thing and it makes solving my problem a cheat mode, like, I can't afford a $200 thing to solve my problem. Like, I can't impact the world with a $200 thing. So we started over to make something that's very inexpensive, that has all the capabilities that folks need, that folks taught us, right? Like, okay, we have the specs in this one product. Here are the things we actually need. Here are the things we don't. And so we were able to eliminate all the things that people, by and large, didn't need, to get the price low enough where they can harness these, superpowers in a device that's low enough cost where they can really go solve their problem and no longer have to be like, yeah, I sure love this thing and I wish I could use it. Just be like, I love this thing and now I get to solve my problem.
Right. Anna, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the community once again so much, because again, I expected the competition to be great, but I didn't expect it to be incredible. So thank you, the community, thank you, the participants, thank you, the teams, for what you have done here.
Phil, your thoughts?
Yeah, this has been so, Brandon, I think, said that this is, the best thing he's ever been a part of. It's got to be pretty high up on the list for me too. It's been amazing to see all of this stuff come out, and the competition is over, but we're not done talking about it. There will be some more interviews with some of these teams. We'll be talking with them probably on this Kickstarter campaign as well. And, one more congratulations to everybody who won a prize and everybody that submitted. Just incredible work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can also take some questions, because we are already over time. People who are, I'm guessing that people who are already here, they probably don't have an immediate meeting or something, so we can take questions.
Yeah, drop them in. We haven't really got many today. But my personal question is, what? I'm not going to ask that one. Never mind. I accidentally gave something away for the campaign.
One question I've been getting lately is whether we'll have another OpenCV AI competition 2022. And we are talking, to sponsors, etc. So there is a possibility, no guarantees, but we are trying hard. We want to do another one of this, and there's a good chance that we will.
Yeah, and we will, of course, be back here, OpenCV Weekly, next Thursday with Rover Robotics.
Great. Any questions from audience that we can take?
What surprised you the most about this? What did you not expect to happen that happened here?
Well, I kind of expected it's the scale of things, right? I kind of expected that people will come up with ideas that I had never thought about, right? And solve problems that I had never thought about. But it's the scale, it's the magnitude of surprise that, oh, wow, you could do this, you could do that. The data annotation, automatic data annotation, right? That was a very good example of things that, you get surprised by, oh, that's a neat idea. And there were several others, which theremin was another one, musical instrument using your fingers, because I did not know about the instrument before. And there were several other examples, which just the execution was so fantastic that it just blew my mind. One other one that I kind of liked was a moving ad. It was going around, and displaying a large ad.
Yeah, I believe that would be
just
SEDRAD, correct? That was
SEDRAD,
Carlos.
yes. So it was a neat application, so that, and the amount of effort that went into that, that's what I was talking about, that in some of these, the amount of effort that went into it is just phenomenal. Similarly, there was another one by a team in India, I think. It's Topspin. They were basically doing tracking of a ping pong game using 3 different cameras. So that was also very impressive. I did not think that would be, I did not think about that kind of problem where you're using 3 of them to generate these detailed analytics.
What about you, Brandon? What was most surprising here?
So, just the capability to execute in the time frame, I think is quite remarkable, right? And the thing that surprised me that it probably shouldn't, right, is that collision, right? Like that's the realization that I had through this competition, and seeing folks build these things is like that collision of, this life trajectories is the coolest thing, right? Like these are not ideas that any of these teams had because of this technology. It's things that they wanted to accomplish along their life journey. And then, this technology comes and collides with that, and boom, you have this really cool thing. And that's something I just didn't get personally. So that's the thing that surprised me the most, is just like seeing those trajectories to come together for the first time, like personally for me to see that, right? That it is actually the confluence of these technologies and this know-how and this capability. I read about it, right? Like the invention, the steam engine, all those things, but it's the first time I got to like actually see it and be like, oh yeah, like that's how it works. So that's the surprising, most surprising, actually, it shouldn't have been, but most surprising thing for me, and also most satisfying.
That's great. Yeah. How about you, Anna?
The thing that probably surprises me the most is the geography. So thinking about like people in the different parts of the world collaborating, working on the same technology and in the same competition, this is probably the biggest part that surprises me in the competition. And also maybe it's because like I feel a part of this, like, global thing. It's really cool that we had 6 regions and we encouraged people from all over the world to participate.
Yeah, and there was a question that came in about the difference between the existing OAK-D, this is the first prototype, and then we should probably reveal it soon, and then the one that's hidden behind my fingers here. So we got a ton of feedback on cost being the biggest one. So we reduced specs on a lot of things that we found that folks were using the lower spec resolution and so forth already. And then we made it smaller, better to mount. Cerebros, for example, you could see some of their footage was sideways because we didn't do a good job on the mechanical design to start with. We should have had lateral mounts as well on this. And so we've taken a lot of that feedback. I shouldn't say not a good job. We didn't do that. Now we know the job we should have done. So it makes it smaller, lower cost, lighter. And it is lower spec, but for a ton of projects, it turns out that lower spec actually doesn't matter. It's totally fine for the application.
The most important part is that the processor is the same. It is still based on Intel Mediate X. So it is going to run neural inference at the same speed. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, somebody also asked, we're definitely going to keep doing OpenCV weekly webinar into the foreseeable future. So don't forget to join us every Thursday at 9 a.m.
Right.
Oh, and one other question is, if they weren't able to compete this time, could they, compete next? For sure. Yes. So anyone who's competed before, it goes back to the person in the arena, right? That's what this is all about. It's allowing people to be in the arena and allow them to compete, right? Lowering that barrier to entry. So we definitely encourage that.
Right. And frankly, I mean, if you think about it, we cannot control what people have already done. When such competitions come up, some people have inherent advantages because they have been working on some project already, right? But we cannot ding them for that. They have been working on something, right? Yep. Kudos to them. So yes, you could resubmit also if you did not win. If you won, then please, then you cannot resubmit, but the same one, you could have a substantially better one. But if you submitted and it did not make it better, and you have a good chance, next time. Always keep trying.
Yeah, I think you want to take us home, Satya. We're ready to wrap it up. Put a bow on this one.
Yes.
You still got time. You still got time to screw up like I did earlier.
Well, like I said, it happens to the best of us. Well, so I want to thank the community. It has been an incredible competition, and it's also very collaborative because some of the things that Cortex Technologies used, it was, I think, developed by other people, and they shared it freely, right? Some of the things that they were able to incorporate in that solution. So amazing thing for the community, and we are very thankful for your contribution. And of course, all the people who were involved in the judging of the competition, very thankful to them as well. And we'll keep doing these things. It's very exciting. This is what brings joy to us. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, and one more round of applause for everybody that submitted. I mean, amazing. Thank you so much,
Congratulations
everybody.
to all the winners as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of the webinar. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to tap the little bell icon to be notified when new episodes drop. This week's episode was brought to you by Microsoft Azure and Intel, sponsors of the world's largest spatial AI competition, OpenCV AI Competition 2021. Just search for OAK 2021 in your favorite social media site. If you'd like to be in the audience next week, subscribe to the OpenCV newsletter.